Quite a bit to cover.
That was a good catch, not putting that on the consent agenda. I didn't even thought about it.
I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's March 3rd, 2022. This year is moving right along, you know. Hard to believe. It seemed like the other day was Christmas, but as always, before we get started, I'll ask Brother Goff here if he would lead us in the prayer and also the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would stand, appreciate it.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for just allowing us to be here tonight, and we thank you for the progress that's been made across our country, Lord, with the pandemic. We thank you that the numbers are down, and we just pray, Lord, and ask you to bless the people that are still going through the bouts with it. Father, we pray for our nation tonight, as we always do, but Lord, with what's going on in Ukraine and with Russia, and Lord, the hardship that's causing even here in our own nation with the prices and inflation, the gasoline and all that. Lord, we faced hard times before. We just ask, Lord, that you would give us the strength and the faith to face this one, and it will pass. And Father, we pray that you would bless our men and women in military, especially those that have been sent over, even if it's just to show the strength and the peacekeeping. But Lord, they're still people with families, and we pray that you'd be with them. Pray that you bless our county, our community, our school system, our businesses, our retail stores, everything that's here, Lord, that makes this our home. We just pray that you would bless it. And Lord, as the weather begins to change and we see the seasons change, we pray, Lord, that you would just help us to be even more thankful that you brought us through some very difficult times, but things look so much brighter ahead. For all this and more, we give you praise in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Robert. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice this meeting was given to the legal origin of Dade County. It has been posted in our hallway of the administrative building. This time I do need a roll call. Mr. Lowry.
Here.
Mr. Hartline.
Here.
Mr. Goff.
Here.
Mr. Bradford.
Here.
The chair is present. We do have a quorum. Anyone want to come up before we get started here? We've moved our citizens' participation up to the front, so if you want to talk to us, that's fine. Okay. If not, we'll move on. Move down to number 3. Lamar, you want to go ahead and start with your report?
Okay, I'll give my E911 report first. We had a total of 224 EMS calls, a total of 250 fire department calls. This is all of the volunteer fire departments, Dade County Public Works, and Georgia Forestry Commission. It's all lumped in there. So we had 2,321 police calls for a total of 2795. So we were getting down a little bit, but now we're easing back up again. I don't know what the reason that was for, but something Alex also threw in was, I don't have the exact number, but it was well over 100 new addresses were added. These are not homes that have been sold. These are new homes in the county, over 100 in 2021. So, and now we're looking at redistricting because evidently Lookout Mountain's got another 1,000 people than they used to have. So our census is not adding up with all this evidence. I did just so happen Adam Austin with the Trenton Telephone Company. He did call me today. They have received the grant for the broadband. Haven't actually got the money yet, but they've got their planning and going on. They've got 3 more places in the county to finish up on, and then the next build out will be in Murphy's Hollow. Murphy's Hollow is getting a lot of attention right now. They've done without some attention for a good while. I think Ted said today that'll be the first road that we're going to pave this year. And a lot of people don't realize that when that freeway backs up, sometimes they don't just go over Morganville Ridge Road, sometimes with all this new GPS stuff, if they're trying to get towards South Pittsburgh, they'll cut through that holler. Now, if you've been on Murphy's Hollow Road and transfer trucks, it's unbelievable. So they're needing help. It's a good thing. But they'll be the first build out because it's a straight road. Then Wildwood, where I live, that's the north end of the Creek Road and Polk Creek Road. We don't have any kind of internet. We're working off hotspot if you're lucky enough to get that. We're going to be a little more challenging because it's such a big area. It's going to cover all of Wildwood, around 299 over in the Hooker community. So, in Sligo and everywhere, it's going to be everywhere. They're looking for a piece of property, roughly an acre, around 299, has to be on the west side of the railroad tracks. Ted, I've got with Ted today. He's going to try to help us come together and find a piece of property to help in the search. It's going to be a little more, because we got places on the east side, but there's so many cables that would have to come across the railroad tracks. It would be a nightmare trying to get the railroad to ever approve anything like that. So it is moving forward. I ask everybody to be patient, and it's hard nowadays when you see commercials on TV, EPB, lightning fast, and our father-in-law, mother-in-law's got, they got TV, and we're still working off telephone hotspots. So, and when you have like the COVID thing, grandkids would come to our house to do their homework, and there's more than one of them. There's 4 boys, so you can't. It's not enough on a hotspot to cover all of them. So we're really looking forward to that. My last thing I have is we were going to have the Second Amendment, the first reading tonight, but due to me assuming and Don assuming, mostly me assuming, that we didn't have the electronic copy to him, and so it wasn't put on the agenda. And I want to be real careful with this to make sure it's done properly, and so there can be no come back later and say, well, y'all didn't advertise it properly, and maybe give it a reason for somebody to turn it down. But it will be on the April the 7th meeting, our first reading for the Second Amendment ordinance. So with that, I'll end my report.
Mr. Hartline?
I'm going to start out with bragging a little bit. 3 years when I started, the fields down there at the sports complex, and I'm bragging on Stacy on this because 3 years when I started, when it rained as much as it has, they would have not got played. So to give you information on that, we had 10.3 of an inch in February. Middle school played ball March the 1st and March the 2nd, which half of that 10 inches was last week probably. We've had 16 inches since the first of the year. So he's worked on the fields since I've started and got it now to where they can play ball somewhat and not have as many rainouts. We had a few when they first started with their practice. I mean, it was just so bad, but it's getting better. And that was one of the reasons for wanting to do the intergovernmental agreement for the extra dirt to help to where we can alleviate the rainouts in this time of the year for all the rain. Baseball signups, they'll finish up this Saturday. Soccer signups has finished and they'll start practicing next week. Middle school baseball actually started practicing February the 7th. And like I said, they played their first game March the 1st and then played the second one on the 2nd. And going with what Mara said about the new homes, electrical inspections for the month of January of this year was 26, and we had 16, and we had 26 for the month of February. So we've had a total of 42 electrical inspections since the first of the year. So that shows that people are still building and people are moving in.
Okay. Good report. Robert?
All right. Reporting on SPLOST, we have $272,074. That is the highest that it's been, if I am seeing the numbers right, since July of 2008. And it is the highest that it's been since they started going back up, because between July 2008 and in June of 2018, we were fortunate to be reporting on $175,000-$80,000. So, but that is the highest since that I've seen since July of 2008. Going to get off script just a little bit, and I'm going to brag on some folks that I usually report on several different things. But our high school, I think every sport represented at Dade County High School went to state. Every one of them. Cheerleaders went to state. I think even some of the other things like drama, and some of them went to state. And that is, I mean, it's just so huge. We don't hear it a lot, but we had 4 state championship wrestlers come back, 3 young men and a young lady. And we had one that finished 4th in the state. Our boys basketball went to state, played round 1. Our football went to state, played in round 1. So just give a shout out to them and all the work that they do, because it's not something that just you take for granted. It's something that you work for, and they have worked for it. So to all those parents that are listening and the coaches that may be listening and watch the broadcast of this, my hat is off to you for the time you put into it. That being said, I attended the school board meeting the other night. I usually don't do, but I wanted to see what they're going to talk about Davis, my old alma mater. I know Philip was concerned with it too. They did agree the other night that they're going forth with a building. If you have any questions other than that, really, you would have to talk to the school board, but they did do that. I did talk to the chairman of the school board. It's not going to be what they started out wanting, but it's going to be classrooms and all that going back. So that's a good thing. Lamar mentioned changing in districts. Now, they did vote to change their districts the other day. This won't happen in this election cycle, I don't think, because we're too far. I think what Lamar, Philip, is 2 weeks is qualifying to run.
Monday.
So we're is this coming Monday? So we're so close to that, it won't change now. But I don't want people to be blindsided when it does, because there will be some changes in where the district that some people will be in, and the biggest change will be in the new home community. People that have been voting for District 2, and they'll be voting for District 1. They won't vote at a different precinct. They'll still go there to the community center and vote, but they will be voting for another district, is the way it's set up. And they said they want ours to mirror ours. Theirs to mirror ours, and ours has not yet changed. So, but they did move on that, the changing of the district. So if anybody's listening.
But that won't start this time.
No, it won't be in this election cycle.
It won't be in this election, yeah.
But it will be at some point in time. They will be notifying people that you're in a different, you're living in the same place, you're voting in the same place, but you're voting for a different district number. And if you choose to run, you could live on parts of Sand Mountain now, or I think my district moved down to 136, here instead of stopping at the Bank of Dade. So there were some changes in it, but the most it will be affected will be the new home in that area out there. So if you have questions, again, you can talk to the school board, but as Ted said, that will not change right now. It will not change because we're too close to an election to do that now. And it all goes back. It's something you go through every 10 years because of the census. A couple of things. Lamar mentioned the Second Amendment. I think the constitutional carry bill is moving through the legislature. Also, Mike Cameron has put out on Facebook that there's going to be a decrease in some state taxes. It's going to affect everybody in Georgia. So we will see some things happening over the next few days. They will probably end up somewhere around the end of March or the first of their 40 days. So things are still going on down there, but it's looking good. And one more thing I want to say, if I can take just another moment. We know how hard it is to deal with things that you can't control and you don't know when they're going to happen. But week before last, I worked with the Georgia Baptist Disaster Relief. 10 of us from Georgia were flown out to Boulder County, Colorado, just in Boulder, Denver area. And I want you to go on your computer, your phone or something and put in the Marshall Fire. And we didn't hear a lot about that out here. The 30th of December, a fire started over at the foot of the Rocky Mountains. They're used to fire. They thought it would get put out. Long story short, by the middle of the day, they were banging on people's doors, evacuate your home. People were leaving the front door as the fire was hitting their back door. 1,090 homes were destroyed that day. Businesses were destroyed on that day. Many homes that are still standing are uninhabitable and may remain that way because so many toxins and so much. So I say that to say this, that's the kind of things we don't ever know that when they're going to happen. Tornadoes, floods, and that sort of thing. But I ask you to pray for those people because you imagine, and it's like if you look at the city of Trenton from the air, and every house in this city, from city limit to city limit, mountain bottom and mountain bottom, was gone. There was nothing left. The greatest thing about it is, I think, if I'm right, there was only one death, and that was a miracle within itself. But these people got out with nothing. One widow lady, I said, what did you get out? And it does break me up to think about it. She said, I got my dog, I got my car, and that's all I've got left. And that is 1,090 homes. There's some of, you look at it, that's what it looked like burning. And you can also see the drone footage of when it's over and where those houses were. There's absolutely nothing. So my prayers go to those people out there that's dealing with that, the government that's dealing with it in Colorado, because we thought we had it bad after the storms. That's all gone. That's building everybody's home back, not just a few here and there. So pray for the people around and in Boulder County, Colorado. Thank you, Chairman.
Ms. Bradford.
Okay, we got 166 work orders, and that was mainly from all the rain that stopped up the ditches and tiles. They're still working on getting them clear, but they're getting caught up. There's 920 tons that went out, which 513 of that went across the scales. And there was no recycling to be hauled out this month,
Okay.
which hurts us.
Huh?
So I don't know if that's just not people taking it in or,
It's just, it's kind of, it kind of goes in cycles.
yeah,
It's strange.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Go ahead and bring us up to date on tire amnesty.
Yeah,
You
that,
worked hard on that. I know it slipped your mind because it's a big deal, I know
Yeah,
Alan, he worked on it and, passed it on to you, so give us,
it was approved today, so, and what we're hoping to do is that it'll, be a yearly at this same time. I know that there's been, in the past, there's been some different, dates and that sort of thing, but, I'm hoping to keep it, the same time. If it rains, then of course we have to switch the day. But Saturday, May 7th at 8 to 2. This past year we had, we got out there at 8. I think the time was actually supposed to be 9, but there were already people
they were lined
waiting.
up. Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to start out at 8. So I'm hoping that it'll be, every year about this time.
Rain date's the 14th, what they said, what I understand. That'd be the following week in case it rains it out. But we appreciate all the work you put in it, and that's, I know everyone does.
Gonna be a limit, or do we know yet?
Yeah, we're going to do the same as we did last year, five per household, 5 tires per household. So it's basically, that we're thinking, a car, you do a tire change maybe once a year, so that adds. Of course, if there's 1 or 2 extras, we'll be flexible with that. But, the state says 3. So we're trying to add a couple on there, so.
Okay. All right. Good report. Okay, I'm going to start with they mentioned the high-speed fiber and all of that. We have been working over there the last 2 weeks, and I mentioned this on the radio a couple of times, but in Murphy Hollow, and that's the reason, not because of the high speed so much, but we want to get everything done possible we can on that road. All the ditches pulled, some of them hadn't been pulled in years, and because this is in the future here. I mean, this is something, and we want to be sure. I know a lot of it's going to be buried. A lot of it's going to be underground, and we want to try to get the road prepped anyway. We hopefully, they won't be cutting the road anywhere. If anything, if we do pave it, when we do pave it, get it done, anything that crosses the road, we'll require them to bore it, actually do a line bore on it. But there's just a lot happening over there, a lot more traffic than there has been in the past few years. And Billy pointed out the other day when the traffic was shut down over there, they had a wreck over on 24. They looked on their Google, and you had tractor trailers coming down that road. It was turning interstate traffic on Murphy Hall Road. And those of you who never been there, you need to ride over and look at it. So it's just something that we're concentrating on, and we hope to. It'll be one of the first roads we work on and try to put some pavement down over there. And we've got other roads we're going to do too, but that's going to be a kind of a priority. I had a deal, speaking of that, a DOT, I met with them this past week. I've got an issue up on Sand Mountain coming around the bluff cut up there on 136. They got a pretty bad water problem that's coming down, and it's actually causing a lot of erosion. For some reason that hadn't been happening right there around Lily Lou's on the backside of that. And Lily Lou's got problems too right there. They've got some sliding and all, but it's for some reason there is more water. The DOT, Grant Waldrop, he came in, he's our area engineer over all of it, and he is researching to see what, if anything, they can do about it. And I'll have a report on that next month or next meeting, because they're pretty concerned with it. And actually, we had several people up there from the state, so we'll keep everybody up on that. But it hasn't affected the road. The road's in great shape. You know, they did that project several years ago and built a wall down there below it, and that stopped all that. But it's just got some for some reason something's changed it evidently, and so but they'll come up maybe with a remedy for that. Lamar mentioned redistricting. I got a call just right before I came in here and sat down. I just walked in. From Mike Cameron, our state representative, concerning that. They did, as Robert said, they moved on the redistricting of the school board that was submitted. Then all this won't take effect until not this next election, but the next one. We have time to either agree with that, or if we need to change ours or whatever. We're not violating any law by not doing it. It would just be better to exactly the same, where there won't be confusion. And that's something we'll be discussing in between now and the next meeting. And we can either decide to agree with the presented map, or if y'all got questions, you want to change a little bit, we can do that, but I told him that because he wanted us to obligate now, but I think it's something we need to look at, because it's not something that has to happen now. It can happen during the next session. And because it's pretty, you might have someone up there on the mountain that, you don't have to vote. You don't have to go somewhere else, but they might want to run for that district out there. They might have lived on Sand Mountain all their life out there. And then all at once they wake up one morning and they decide, well, I'm going to run for commissioner, run for school board. And you look and you say, well, no, I've got to run in North Dade. And to me, that'd be a big deal in Rising Farm. So, it's something we need to look at. We need to think about all the people involved in it, and we'll.
I think LaWanna Vaughn has got some issues with it too. I mean, as far
What was that? Oh yeah.
LaWanna Vaughn,
Exactly.
with the election.
So we'll keep everybody up, to date on that, because it does change. I mean, like Robert, it'll change his district. He'll lose everyone from the back of Dade down to 136 right there, which is a lot of people. But that would. We need to try to look at the whole picture, and because ultimately it's going to be up to us to either yay or nay, and then they will pass whatever we send them, really. So anyway, just want to give you an update on that.
I don't know why they didn't do like they did last time. Last time, me and you and Alan, we went to Atlanta, and they have a place called the Map Room.
Yeah.
They get in there and they click little parcels on in each, and we know the layout of the land. They're looking at a flat map. They don't know what they've just done is put part of the north end. They've took it up just a little bit up on the Sand Mountain, up on the new home.
Well, that's what they've done with Lookout. And my concern is just the relationships that's already been built. So you have a relationship with a commissioner, and then all of a sudden you're in a different district, then you're having to rebuild that relationship. So that's my concern.
Right. But we got a lot to talk about, so but we got time. We got plenty of time to make our mind up. And I'll get each one of you a really good print out of that map, just nothing, maybe a larger, and you can kind of, on your spare time, you kind of look at it and, and just, give you time to look at it and see, The storm shelters, I want to talk about that. We've got, the one down at the Four Fields. It's 99%. They've finished up HVAC and some electrical on it. If this weather will let us along, we'll be back down at South Dade. It's got to dry. We'll get the crane in there and actually set the building. The footers are all ready. Hopefully in the next 14 days anyway, if everything goes, we'll be able to go up to Davis and start that clearing and get that. It'd be good to get that done before the leaves get on the trees, while the sap's down in the trees where you can kind of see. That's our plan, but we've not, the only reason we've slowed down or stopped is because of the weather, all this wetness, and there's nothing nothing we can do about that. Let's see here now. I want to mention this. I've mentioned this maybe 3 times already today, last week. We do have the property that's fixing to be on the line next week over in Back Valley that will be sold. It's just some choice property. It's about 36 acres over there. You'll be, after this week, the Potts company over there, land auction, they will have brochures to be picked up. We'll have here in different businesses in Trenton. Be interesting to look at it. It's marked. We had the surveyors come back over and re-put all the points in. They're flagged. There'll be numbers on those tracts of land. They go from like 5 acres to up to 8, almost 9 acres. So it's some really choice building lots over there. So just, if you're interested or have any investment, desires, it would be good to look at this property because it's good. It's some of the finest property over in that way, going down the Back Valley. We'll probably, from what I understand, they'll have it online. There'll be an online auction there, and it'll be cut off, like the last Friday, the Friday before the 15th. And then on the 15th of that day, there'll be a tent set up on the property over there. They will opening bids up under that tent to start the bid off on the people who already bid on the land, and then they'll have an auction, And at the end, they always do this. They'll put all that together as one lump sum, and then they'll offer it as one tract of land, and sometimes sometimes it sells, sometimes it don't. And if they'll start that off, and then if you bid more than that, then it's yours, all of it. So pretty interesting, but it's a fair way to do it. Gives everybody a chance to bid, and got plenty of time to look at it. And so I do want to mention this. This is something that came to me the other day. This isn't a residential area. There's a lot of houses there across the front and even down the side of it. I think it'd be good for us to put some restrictions, just a couple in it, as far as the poultry houses and hog farms. They're not very large tracts anyway, but if somebody bought the 36 acres, they could, possibly build houses there. And it is really close to several houses, right there in front. And I've not had anybody call me on that yet, but, if I lived across the road and my commissioners were selling a piece of property across in front of me, that, I would want them to consider that. So y'all think about that. It'd be good to do that. And I don't think it'd be unfair to anybody, the farmers or anybody like that, because it's not really, it's not really something you'd want to actually have a full-scale swine operation or chicken houses on it. So, but y'all think about that, and we can do that. We got time to do that,
Yeah, because we're going to Atlanta March the 9th for our legislative day at the Capitol, but there is movement, the Freedom to Farm Act, which we all support, or the Right to Farm Act.
Right to
which is
farm,
what
yeah, it's a big deal, yeah.
They're trying to change it now to Freedom to Farm, and it's going to be more for the commercial farmer that could drive our home farmers out of business.
Yeah.
And
A lot happening. There's just a lot happening.
that we need.
It's so important to back our farmers. It's just, people they go to the grocery store and they buy a dozen eggs, or they buy, meat or whatever, or vegetables, and a lot of people don't even realize really where that comes from, and it's just, but anyway, though, I just want to bring you up to date on that. I mentioned that we talked about the school trade. We did that resolution. The land over here, that the reservoir land, I've talked about that some. We're working with GFA on that. I've met with them at our regular meeting in February, I think it was, and then we've met. Don and I had some Zoom talk with them. We won't know anything really final from them, which I feel good about it, and we'll talk a lot more about this, but until the May meeting of GFA. But they have talked to us, about, dropping the interest down to nothing practically, and so they're working, where we can make a smooth transition on that, but we'll talk more about it. We've got a lot to talk about, and we'll keep people informed on that. We did mention the school trade, I said that. Let's see, I want to make sure I haven't left anything. One thing I want to end with, and this is it really aggravates me. We went over Robin Road with Billy and I. We got a little issue over in Coal City Hollow, which is a part of Dade County. A lot of people, you've never been there, but you got to go into Tennessee, come back down the river to get into it. And there's several homes over there. Also, it's the home of our 3 points of our state marker that TVA set, and it's a bronze marker, and it's got a drawing or stamp of the Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. And you can put your finger right there on that, and, you're in 3 states, you can stand on it. And so we were over there, and when we started to leave, I did ask Robin, I said, Robin, have you ever been to this point? He said, no, but I wanted to go, And so we were less than 200 yards from it. So I said, well, just turn left. We parked the cemetery, and we got out, and we started to walk up the trail, and there was 2 men coming out, nice dressed guys came down, and they had, I think they were going motorcycle, whatever, and had motorcycles, and Billy asked me, have y'all been to the, he said, we went up there, but somebody stole it. And I laughed, I said, anyway, I stole it, it's rock, it's made out, and he said, well, we sure couldn't find it, and one of them said he'd been there, like 2 years before. So anyway, make a long story short, we went up the trail, went in there, and I made a picture of it, but somebody took a sledgehammer, and they had broke that thing out of the ground. It's a big monument thing, and it's gone. I mean, it's just flush with the ground. You can see where the square was at, and you got a little concrete here, but it's gone. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And pretty fresh too. I mean, it hadn't been too long since it happened. Yeah. So they beat it down and got the medallion, the big medallion, that they put in, So it's kind of sorry. It's pretty sorry, that somebody would do that. But I mean, what can you say? But anyway, I'll end with that. Y'all got anything else you want to bring up? I mean,
The weather kind of caught us on some of our road striping.
Oh, yeah.
And so I know Creek Road, we've got it on the list, and I've had several calls about it.
Yeah.
So as soon as the weather, and if we get the striping people back in here, that we'll follow up on that.
Yep.
And Carrie did verify for me that March the 7th, Monday, starts qualifying.
Oh, okay, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be my district and Phillips district.
And it'll last how many days? How many?
4 days, Monday through Thursday, and then a half a day on Friday.
That's it then. Okay, if you're going to qualify. Okay, all right. Good deal. You got anything else, Melissa, anything you want to bring before us? If not, we'll move on. Anything?
I'm good.
All right. Let's move down to our appearances. Miss Mindy. There you are. Hayworth, come on up. Dade County Public Library. I think she was asleep back there. I woke her up. I heard someone snoring back there. I think it might have been you.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'll try to keep it a little bit more brief. I like to talk, if y'all didn't notice after the last one. First, here's our March schedule. I mentioned last time that we're introducing and making sure that we're having programming available. We've got 2 teen programs this month. One of them was tonight. We had 3 new teen patrons come to the library for our manga club tonight. It happened right as I was heading over here. But we've got this calendar at the library. We post all of our events on Facebook so you can see all of the different programs that we're offering. We have our Ready to Read. We've got our teen program that happens on Thursday tonight, and then I think it's on the 17th. We have our regular teen program at 5, and that's they're going to be doing journaling. Kids Night is next week, Alien Invasion. We've had a lot of people donate cans and boxes and all sorts of stuff. They're going to do an Alien Invasion STEM project. We got our regular book club this month. We're talking about Finding Dorothy and Quilting for Beginners. It was a really popular class last month. We posted a picture on Facebook. All the ladies got their first square done, so it was very popular. We're following that up with not so much a class, but a gathering on Saturday for the folks that were able to go to that class, because it's limited registration, and we have a waiting list already in through April for the next ones being offered. The other thing was Prime Time that we had started, and this is this incredible family literacy program that we got a grant for, and we are now, let's see, in our 5th week, and it's been really great. We have 5 consistent families that are coming. They're getting fed. This past week was Trenton United Methodist, and Terry came and brought some homemade food for us. It was fantastic. We give them books to start their home library. We have a storyteller. Darlene reads them a story, and Leanne does some Socratic questioning afterwards, so that's been really popular. We do a little drawing. So thanks for all the community members that have volunteered to bring food, and donate prizes for our little drawings. Next, we have a new collaboration with the schools. It's our first one. This is the 100th anniversary of the Newberry Award for Children's Literature. So there are 100 titles out there, and we're doing a reading challenge with the school. And if you read a Newberry book, you just go to a Padlet that Gina created, and you put a picture of yourself on the book, and we're going to have a pizza party for everybody that at least puts one book up there, and then we're going to do a grand prize for the most read Newberry honor books. And we've got posters and displays up at all the schools, and we have our Newberry collection. We have them all out there, and it was really interesting. Even some older people, some of us, people coming by, oh, I read that, looking, because we have a lot of books from a lot of years on display in the library. Another collaboration, not quite here yet, but another collaboration that we're working on is getting some Libby titles, audiobook titles, and I got the go-ahead today from one of our 7th grade ELA teachers. They are working on they're about to start The Hobbit, and we're going to procure 100 simultaneous use copies of the new version of The Hobbit, which was recorded in 2020, for students to be able to download, and then they will have the audiobook for their class novel. So we're really excited about that. That leads me into the next step, which is what we're really hoping to do is get this thing called a play card, and that would automatically register all school kids as soon as they register for school with a library card. And there's no overdue fees on the play card. I think they're allowed a limited circulation, but it gets them that library card, and it gets them automatic access to all the digital resources. So that's something we're going to be working with the school board to try to make sure we can align and get that. We'd love to get it started before the summer reading program, and for sure we want to get that started before the next school year as a way to remove that barrier of just having to sign up for the library card.
So that's starting at 1st grade, like when they register, or are you talking about in middle school?
No, it'd be every school.
If they
kid,
register,
if they register kindergarten,
good idea.
they could have a library, and they already do that in Hamilton County schools, and actually Walker County schools and Chickamauga schools are implementing this, and their starts. They were a little bit ahead of the game on us.
Yeah.
I know, they jumped the gun on us, so we got to play catch up.
Yeah.
Theirs is going to start May 1st, and basically we just have to. I think the big thing. We haven't met with the school yet. That's part of our agenda, is to meet with our school system here and make sure that they understand that the securities are in place so that the information from the students will not be shared. It's a very protected system in the Georgia Public Library system, and we would have the minimal amount of information on the students for that card, but they would have to agree to that transfer of information to automatically have that card. But one of the ways that it would be really beneficial is when I go in, we're buying The Hobbit, and when I go in, if you don't have a library card, you don't get to download that book. I'm going to try to encourage everybody. You can register online for a library card. They can, with their parents, they can go home and register online, and as soon as they have that little library card number, I can get them on Libby, and then they can get that audiobook downloaded so they can start listening to it. But if they had the play card, we wouldn't even have to go through that step of trying to make sure everybody had one. So that's in the works, and we're hopefully working on that. And then Chromebooks. Chromebooks. I know you were talking about hotspots not being your favorite thing ever, but we just launched our program where at the library you can now check out a Chromebook and a hotspot for 2 weeks, and that's free. And we're really excited about that. We have a little form that you got to fill out, but I think we have right now 12 Chromebooks, 25 hotspots. Our goal is to have all 25, but those shipping delays. But we have 12 of them right now ready to lend
What
out.
company is the hotspots through? Is it through, is it like,
Oh.
Fixed to ask that, 'cause mine's through Verizon. If I don't have a Verizon hotspot, I had to pay, that's who I had to pay to get
Yeah,
my hotspot.
I know it's called, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. I don't know if it's through a phone company or not.
well, it would almost have to be, but it might be like Intel or something like that.
Yeah, it's got a funny little name to it, and I can't remember what it's called now, but
If it works, it don't matter.
I know, it gives you,
long as it gets-
basically, I think it renews every month, and it gives you like 100 hours or something, and as you get closer to the end of the 100 hours, it starts slowing down.
Yeah.
So what we do is we will rotate them out so that we're not giving somebody one of the ones that
That's
was just
slow.
returned.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the Chromebooks will be, as soon as you return it in, they are completely wiped.
Yeah.
We do that remotely. They're completely wiped so that they would be ready for a new patron to check out without anybody's information still being left on them.
And it'll
from
just
before.
be for books, it won't be for games or movies or,
The
because the movies and the games eat up the data and our.
Yeah, the hotspots are limited. There are some, we have that listed at the library. There are some things that you would not be able to do on the hotspot. You wouldn't have access. I think there's a few social media sites that you wouldn't have access to. Facebook, LinkedIn, I think maybe Instagram. So it's, really it's for students that need Chromebooks, parents that need Chromebooks. I know at one of the other branches, one of the moms didn't have internet access, and while the kids were in bed, she was trying to work on getting her GED, and she was able to work on some of that through the Chromebook and the hotspot. So you can use any of our digital resources through the hotspot, but there are some limitations to that. And I don't have a slide for it, but last, and then I'll end, is I always like to end with an interesting story that happened at the library. And sure enough, just like any other day, right as I was heading over here, 2 women came into the library almost in tears because they couldn't find any help. They were trying to fly to England, and they got to the airport, and they were turned away. They couldn't get on their plane because they didn't have the right documentation. And they just came to the library, and they said, we don't know where else to go. And I was able to help them. I wasn't sure what I was doing either, but my daughter had just flown to England, and I was like, what was that piece of paper you had to fill out? So we had different things going, and they're going to come back in tomorrow to use the computers because her friend that's from England doesn't have the internet here. So they're going to come back into the library tomorrow and get that form filled out, printed out, so they can actually get on the flight on Monday. So that's my little interesting tidbit. I said something different. You never know what you're going to get at the library. But just like I said, it's always, well, let's see what we can do. Let's try to figure it out.
Well, they might have wrong turned it, and that's unbelievable in Dade County for somebody.
I know, right? I
from
know.
England. Yeah.
So
Well, that's good that you helped them. It's good that you could.
Yeah.
we're able to help them,
Yeah.
and they're going to come back tomorrow to get the rest of the
Back.
documentation so that they can get on that flight.
Yeah. Well, good.
And that's all I got for you this.
Forward, any questions? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Come on up.
Well, you guys are in luck tonight because you get both of us.
Got two.
We're both here tonight.
Tell us who you are now. I'm not going.
I'm Laura Cunningham. I'm the Forage educator with UGA Extension Service,
And I'm Sarah Dyer. I haven't been here in a few months because I had a baby, but
Yeah.
I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resource Extension Agent and County Extension Coordinator.
We know you, but a lot of people out there don't. You're, yeah. Okay, let's see what you got.
so this first slide that's going to come up, that was our February newsletter, and I gave you a copy of our March one that I just finished with your written report. We have a lot coming up in March with summer camp registration. We have junior senior DPA at Rock Eagle next weekend, and I'm trying to pull together a poultry judging team. So if anybody's kids, want to come and look at chickens, I'm more than willing to teach them how to judge them, and we'll go to a competition. That's our newsletter. Early in February, I brought 5 of our 4-H'ers to the state capitol for 4-H Day at the Capitol. We joined 500 plus other 4-H'ers from all across the state. We took a tour of the Capitol. The kids learned about the legislative process, and we were able to hear a really nice speech from Governor Kemp. Dade County had not attended this event in the last 6 years, so I was really honored to be able to bring them down there for this experience because I did it when I was a kid. And I really want to bring this tradition back to where we do this every year again. We had a great turnout for our Valentine's craft project on the 11th. The kids made yarn hearts and colored Valentine's Day cards for their parents and grandparents. Our March craft night will be on the 14th, and it is a St. Patrick's Day theme. We'll be painting shamrocks on canvas with our hands, so that should be a fantastic mess for me to clean up, but I know that the kids will really like that. March movie night will be on the 18th, and we will be showing Home on the Range. I kind of decided that I wanted to start showing really, really old movies because I don't think a lot of this generation had seen them, so I'm going to play Home on the Range.
It's a good idea, really.
So
Good idea.
hopefully that'll bring in some people because they don't watch those anymore.
Yes. And I'd like to say, with all the bragging that was going on tonight, that I do want to take a moment, as my first time back, to say thank you to Laura and brag on her because she came in, 2 weeks before I went on maternity leave. So she has just had to run with this all on her own. Y'all know we're a small office with 3 people. We were missing 1 person. So that was a pretty big impact at our office. But Laura took everything she could and ran with it. And we are super, super thankful that she chose to come back to Dade County and be our 4-H educator. So we, again, like she said, we're doing programs that haven't been done in years. So this is a really exciting time for our office. And if your kids, grandkids aren't involved, now's the time to get them involved. So I definitely encourage you. Our livestock show team was in full swing. So the first week I came back, the reason I wasn't here is because we decided to host a huge show. That first week, our 4-H'ers on our show team helped host that. So they're kind of learning the responsibility of holding up that reputation for other exhibitors coming from our state as well as a few other states. So they were able to compete at that and did really good at their home turf. So a few different things with Braxton Wood. He accomplished some really good goals with showmanship. So he was the 2nd overall 7th grade showman at the Magic in the Mountains Winter Classic here in Dade. And then last week we were at the state show and he was 6th in the state with all 7th graders, and that is his first state breeding doe show. So that's a huge accomplishment. More kids going to state competitions from Dade County and representing, which is great. So the girls, Callie Hughes and Ella Hughes, they also had a great run on their home turf here at the Magic in the Mountains show. Both of them ended up in the top 5 with their goats on the Georgia Born and Bred division. And then when we went to state show last week, which those pictures aren't here because we submitted it before we got back, but they had an awesome run there as well, and both of them received a division champion award for one of their does each in the Georgia Born division. So they've had a great run. Now is about a month of downtime for them, and April begins sale season, so they'll be looking for their new livestock projects for next year. They'll purchase them. They have to do all of the breaking of those animals to get them show ready, teaching them what they're supposed to do in the show ring. They'll be doing that all summer long, and we will start up the end of June with the summer season. So really they only have about a month break, but they've done really good. We're really proud of the team we've got going on right now. Our 4-H Chick to Chicken project, the registration ends tomorrow. So if you're watching this at home, if you've got a kid that's interested in doing this project, what it is you get 10 chicks, you order them now, so registration closing tomorrow is just for placing the order. You don't have to have anything else ready until May when the chicks arrive. So the chicks will arrive, you'll take them home and raise them for about 6 months, and then we'll host a show in November where the kids will come exhibit their 3 best hens out of those 10, and then we will auction them off to community members. And this is now going to be the 3rd year we've done that sale, and back in November we had a great turnout for that sale that Laura Beth probably talked about in the December meeting. Yep. But again, this registration closes tomorrow, and Laura picked out some awesome blue, grayish looking hens that we're going to have this year to change it up and have something fun to add to their flocks at home. Anything else to add with that? Just remember, you don't have to have your coop ready. That's not till May. Our Beekeepers Association will be meeting Monday, March 21st at the Ag Center. So please get in touch with them if you have any questions about that. Eddie Gwaltney, I believe, is still president for that association. Our Cattlemen's Association will be meeting in Dade this month, so it does alternate between Walker and Dade. But Tuesday, the 15th at 6:30, you're welcome to come to the Ag Center. We will have our state Forage UGA Extension Specialist coming to that program, and she's going to talk about a hot topic, which is how to survive these high rates that we're facing with input costs, such as fertilizer costs, lime cost, everything's up, fuel cost, and how farmers can survive this type of inflation year. Hopefully it's a year. We'll see. The next 2 nights after that, March 17th, we're actually able to keep Dr. Baxter up here in Dade County. She's going to sightsee a little bit in Chattanooga and Cloudland Canyon State Park, and then join us Thursday night, March 17th at 6:30 for all registrants in the Dade grass class. And with that, she'll also reiterate ways to survive our high cost year, but she'll also be talking about, sorry, that topic is incorrect, but she will be talking about summer, annual, and perennial forage establishment and maintenance. So if you want to make sure you've got good summer pastures and hay crop, this will be a good program for that. And then we recently just added on for that program that she's going to do a sprayer calibration demo and a seed drill calibration demo. So that'll be super helpful hands-on practice for the farmers that need to get their equipment in order for the season. And I believe that's it for the screen. Last thing I want to mention is what Commissioner Lowry brought up. Yes, so the right to farm bill is what did not pass previously. Now they're reworking it as the freedom to farm, and they're working in a way that the concerns from the opposers of the right to farm bill will be more pleased with this freedom to farm. So it is something that we need to be watching about, and we certainly need to protect our $25 million industry here in Dade County of agriculture. So let me know if you've got any questions on that, and thank you for having us.
Thank you. Any questions?
Now, I'd just remind everybody that I checked my honeybees today and they are working wide open. I don't know exactly what they're going over. My fruit trees are just now opening, but if you have flowering bushes and trees and you see the honeybees, please be careful with the pesticides because we're losing our bees at a tremendous rate. So.
We don't want to spray any herbicides or pesticides while the pollinators are out foraging.
Okay. Good report. George, come on up. Mr. George Williams, he's chairman of the Alliance for Dade and Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm George Williams from the Alliance for Dade, your Chamber of Commerce. It's been a busy month in February. We actually went past our 100 investors. We're at 103 now. And also we're doing renewals of investors who were members during the first year. So we've got 2 things going on: build the organization as well as attract and get back the ones that have been there for a year. We had a great lunch and learn last week. Mr. Rumley and Alex Case and Josh Engel and who am I missing? Peter Savelli were there to give us updates on what's going on in the community. I think it was well received, and I think it was a great event. We're looking to probably do our next lunch and learn, which will be a legislative update with Mike Cameron and Jeff Mullis, probably sometime in the late April, early May timeframe. Last week, I attended the IDA meeting, and I was elected to be the community liaison and non-voting membership in the IDA. So we want to keep close with the IDA and have a chance to let them know where the Alliance is coming from. Alliance Live, which is our weekly updated newsletter where we interview our investors. That's going very well. We've actually started interviewing some of our individual investors, which has been interesting. In fact, the first one we interviewed, this gentleman actually printed off our directory because he's new to the area, and that's where he plans on doing his shopping. So that's very good. We're working with the school district, specifically the high school. On April the 5th, we're going to do a career fair where we're going to bring together companies and we're going to go after the senior class and have an opportunity for those seniors that haven't decided to go on to secondary education or trade schools or whatever the case might be, the job opportunities that there are here in Dade County, and we want to be able to do that. We'll have a meeting tomorrow with Josh, and we'll do some of the final details, but we would certainly want the city and the county to be there as well, because those kids will want to see what kind of jobs there are available for in city and county government. Our Drugs Don't Work program, which is the next program that we'll have to help our investors, is to help them lower their workers' comp expense. The savings can be up to 7.5%. We have to certify the Alliance to be able to do this program, and we are in the process of finishing that up, and we will announce it to the community and to our investors about the middle of March. To tack on to you helping tourists, we at the Welcome Center, that's going to be my next slide, but we get a lot of requests of knowing when the bus schedule is for the Greyhound bus. So we provide a service for, we probably should charge Greyhound to be a ticket agent or whatever there, but we help them with that as well. The numbers, as you can see, it's took a flip-flop. We have more Dade County residents coming this past month than outside visitors. But as you can see, it kind of goes back and forth. I'm sure we're probably a month or two away from seeing a real takeoff of other visitors coming to the visitor center. So if that's my report, are there any questions?
Any questions?
Well, with gas prices the way they are, there are probably more people interested in seeing what's here at home locally.
I would think so. Yeah, we have plenty of brochures for them, Lamar, so have them stop by.
Yeah. Good report, George. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
All right. Move down to number 5A. Townsend. Donna's not here, right? I mean, I didn't see her no report. Okay. Ms. Street's not. So let's move down. Don, if you give us our monthly financial report, please.
Okay. As of February 28th, the general fund had a balance of $2,876,008. On the investments, we had $1,302,494. So that's a total of $4,178,503 available for the general fund. Federal Asset Fund, U.S. Treasury, has a balance of $0. Sheriff Special Fund, a balance of $10,838. Drug Abuse Education Fund, $36,598. Supplemental Juvenile Services Fund, $27,695. Victim Assistance Fund, $1,392. Jail Fund, $6,970. Federal Asset Fund, Department of Justice, $0. American Rescue Plan maintains a balance of $1,424,802, and the accommodations tax, which is the hotel motel tax, has a balance of $196,523. Employees flexible spending account, $25,576, and payroll account, $72,531. The SPLOST funds, we've moved everything now into projects. That's $238,735. And then the new SPLOST, the projects account has a whopping balance of $783. The paving really took it out of us back in December, so we're trying to rebuild it. And we, as Commissioner Goff stated earlier, the $273,499 came in, and that helped. Although, remember, a portion of that is the city of Trenton that will be deducted. Moving on to the revenues for the month of January, ending the month January 31st, 2022. The actuals that came in were $543,458. We had budgeted $696,821, so we were short $153,362. Year to date, we've collected $9,361,074. had budgeted $9,093,872, so we were in excess of $267,201. For expenses as of ending January 31st, this is pretty good budgeting, I have to say. We budgeted $972,478, and we spent $972,990, so we're just barely over at $511. Year-to-date, spent $7,454,268. We budgeted $7,688,715, so we were under budget $234,446. With 58.33% of the budget attained from July 1st through January 31st, revenues attained were at 71.22%, and expenses attained at 56.71%. The local option sales tax came in at $217,659. And just as a reminder, lost is a direct rollback for our millage rate. So that's really critical, and that's great that when SPLOST is up, lost is up. So that's a good sign. Special purpose local option sales tax did come in as earlier stated, $272,074. So that was great. The 2015 SPLOST worksheet is there for your review. And as we stated a little bit earlier, it's pretty much finished, except if you look on the very bottom page, where it says balance under the fire departments. Pretty much that's the money remaining in the fund, and we are after those fire departments to get that spent. I'm looking at him in the back of the room, and we got a lot of hands out right now, so let me tell you, we're trying to hold on to it for you. So, and then we have not yet allocated the 2021 SPLOST, but once we do, then we'll have some more budgetary numbers to report there on the next page, and that is for the 2021 SPLOST. Looking at the tax commissioner's report, this is as of February the 4th, 2022. So this is through from July 1st, 2021 through January 31st. She had collected, and that's Mrs. Angie Galloway, collected $4,377,699. And so that's at 84.23% collection, which is pretty good. She's got pretty soon we'll have the deadline, I think, for mobile homes and some personal property that's coming in, and we'll probably see the remainder of that come in pretty steadily. That concludes the report.
Okay. Any questions or corrections, concerns? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our financial report as presented by Don Townsend. I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll call a vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Bradford? Yes. 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 Okay, thank you. I thought that's what you said. Was. All right. Robin, you got anything for us?
I don't, Mr. Chairman.
Anything legal matters and. Yeah, I hate you missed seeing the medallion over there, Robin. I know you were all built up for it. We made a picture of him standing by the stub, so he can sell that to the grandkids maybe, but,
Me, I was wanting to say it too.
Okay.
I know, that's so
No unfinished
disappointing.
business, but on our new business, I do need to entertain a motion pertaining to 5A. That was the, let me get my paper back here a minute right now. Okay. That's the information, I'm sorry, Dade County Water and Sewer Authority expenditure request for Wayside Lane project. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Since I made the motion to table it last month, and our concerns have been addressed
Okay.
with that, I'd like to make the motion to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Call a vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Accuse myself.
Okay, abstain. Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Bradford?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, the reading of the minutes of the last month. regular meeting, and any special call meetings will not be required since all commissioners have been furnished copies in advance. The minutes are public record and available for review in the county commission office. The minutes are included in the consent agenda. And at this time, I would ask Mr. Townsend if he would go over the consent agenda, and then we will entertain a motion pertaining to that. Mr. Townsend.
Okay. We have the approval of the agenda as presented, approval of previous meeting minutes, the review of the personnel status report, the proclamation for Intellectual Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month for the month of March 2022, a proclamation for Dade County Lions Club Save Your Vision Month, March 22, proclamation for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, March 2022, proclamation for Social Worker Month, March 2022, resolution R-18-22, an appointment of a member to the Special Use Permit Board for the unexpired term for District 2, and that is Mr. Kevin Cale Smith III. That's with a term expiring December 31st, 2022. Resolution R-19-22, a reappointment of a member to the Department of Family Children Services Board, Mr. Tommy Bradford, for a 5-year term commencing July 1st, 2022, expiring June 30th, 2027. Resolution R-20-22, reappointment of a member to the Joint Historic Preservation Commission, Mr. Rex Blevins, a 3-year term commencing July 1st, 2022, expiring June 30th, 2025. Then we have Resolution R-14-22 for the Destination Marketing Organization, a DMO agreement with the Alliance for Dade. Resolution R-22-22, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the county, the sheriff's office, the entities of the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit Drug Task Force to apply for a JAG grant. Resolution R-23-22, conveyance of real property from Dade County to the Board of Education. Resolution R-24-22, an agreement extension with S&ME Incorporated for groundwater methane testing analysis and reporting to the Georgia EPD on Back Valley landfill. Resolution R-25-22 for the sale and or disposal of county capital equipment as declared surplus property to be placed in gov deals. And then we have don't have a resolution, but a proposed intergovernmental agreement between the Board of Education and Dade County for recreational services at the Dade County Sports Complex. That's it.
Okay. Any questions, concerns, changes? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion is second. Call a vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Gall?
Yes.
Mr. Bradford?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay. All right, number 9, there's no executive session, so y'all got anything else you want to add maybe tonight? No. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
They have a second?
Second.
Okay, call a vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Gall?
Yes.
Mr. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thanks for everybody staying and being with us here. I appreciate it a lot.